the age-old story of toys versus tech. For this being the fifth entry, I would like that story to be very good, because otherwise, this ain't it, Chief.
Nice poncho.
It's good to see them fighting again.
It sure is.
Toy Story 5 is directed by Andrew Stanton, with a screenplay by Andrew Stanton and Kenya Harris, and a story by Andrew Stanton. The film stars Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Conan O'Brien, Scarlett Spears, Greta Lee, Shelby, Rabara, Mykal-Michelle Harris, and Craig Robinson. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, Woody, Buzz, Jesse, and the rest of the gang's jobs are challenged when they're introduced to electronics, a new threat to playtime. Toy Story has been popular, with each outing being considered the best, whether it be from Toy Story 1 to 2 to 3. Each entry has popularized this franchise even further and has cemented itself that really is able to tap into high quality, interesting concepts to really knock it out of the park. Once the fourth film was released, fans were left very divided and conflicted by its existence. To this day, fans still think it should have ended with 3. That's where it should have ended, okay? I don't understand why they did. We all know why, but at the very least, was it good? At least for me, I thought it was amazing. But then again, that's just me. I'm apparently the outlier in that scenario. After that, nothing happened for about 6 years until it was announced that there was a fifth film that was being made. And now, a year later, here we are. I can say for certain that after the fourth movie, I think a lot of people are just now expecting that this franchise is just going to keep on going as long as it is, or as much as Disney wants to just make money off of this. And trust me, that is true. At the same time, my thought process whenever these get made, it's always, can they always hit it? Because the fourth movie proved to me that they can still do more. They still can come up with creative concepts for these franchises to keep on innovating itself. And with this being now Toys vs. Tech, I think there is something here to mineralize into something that can be very creative and something relatable in the face of what we are seeing now with technology, with iPads, phones, computers, as well as something like AI. And I'll say this for those who still want to give the feeling of after 3 everything's just terrible. Well, just like the previous entries, I think Toy Story 5 is another stellar addition to this series. Just like how the fourth movie was able to still showcase what makes Toy Story still special, this movie still does that. And I'm really excited to see what else they could do with this franchise. As much as people still want to be like naysayers or say otherwise, I'm still very much interested in some ideas that they could do, but I don't know what else they could, but I leave it up to them. For a franchise that is over 30 years, it manages to find the creative and interesting ways for this series to keep on going. Before addressing my only negative, and yes, I have one negative with this movie, here are now the positives. The voice acting is exciting. The cast, but particularly Hanks, Allen, Cusack, O'Brien, and Lee, are effective at bringing the emotions throughout, showing us why we love this franchise. Without these voice actors, I don't know what Toy Story would have been. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they just are able to just sing together so easily throughout this movie, and the camaraderie that they still have, it is still there. It has never lost its touch. The back and forth banter that they have still be as fun and as exciting as it was all those years ago when it started. The standout to me is definitely Joan Cusack. I think she was given a huge upgrade in this movie than she has in most of this entire franchise. And I think she is so captivating, and she holds her own as being a good protagonist for Toy Story without having to have Woody. Because, yeah, Woody's not in this that much. He's part of Buzz's story, but like he's hardly in the movie compared to Jessie. Jessie is the central character of this story, and she is able to be as lovable but as interesting as she is as a character that we love to follow, and the dynamic that she has with the other toys, mainly with Buzz, it's really delightful. Another shout out, Conan O'Brien. Who would have thought a character like Smarty Pants could actually work for this movie. And yet, I can understand to some degree why this movie may have gotten a PG rating than its usual G rating. And I think that has to do with him because of the fact that he is able to just throw in a lot of potty jokes that are kind of adult oriented in some way, but yet somehow they managed to make him funny. And he was such a really good addition to this film. And I found his dynamic in the movie and his whole storyline with him and some of the lower quality tech against like the more higher quality tech and like the lifespan of that. I thought that was really interesting. And Greta Lee, I think she was really captivating to watch as Lily Pad, this device that Bonnie is gifted to hang out with her friends of today and how they would use tablets and smart devices to connect with one another, because that is the real world scenario of technology is really here to stay. And I found her role in this to be interesting, but also good in terms of having the commentary about what technology means for today and not just having it be like this clear black and white scenario of tech bad, toys good, because there is a gray area to this without having it feel like it's beating you over the head of making you feel like nobody can understand this. Like Pixar trusts their audience in doing that, and I thought Lilypad was a great antithesis of understanding what it means to have technology and what it means to engage with people of today. The direction is solid. Director Andrew Stanton is able to find new and fresh ways to bring the toys back without being stale, showing what makes this series so special. Andrew Stanton has been part of the Toy Story franchise for such a long time. I think he's been here since the beginning, so now it is his time to now be the director. And here he is still as innovative and creative as how the previous movies were. There's so much life, there's so much joy to this franchise, and also showcasing the difference between what playing with toys is like versus technology, how being toys makes you feel alive and imaginative, whereas to technology just sucks the life out of you. He finds a way to weave this in together to make this seem as fresh and as exciting as it is without having it feel like it's run its course. Able to take all these concepts and harness it in a way where it does feel like how Pixar has always done with their movies of the past and how effective they are at telling a really emotional, humorous story that is really full of life. The animation is beautiful. Seeing the detailing of the toys and environments are stunning to see. As always, Pixar continuing to top themselves every single time. I don't know what it is with Pixar. If there is one thing these guys can do is make a movie so visually dazzling, and here from this movie, from where the previous movie was with Toy Story 4 and how like that movie looked gorgeous, this 10 times more. It's incredible, and it's so insane to me to think that they could still manage to bring so much detailing and life into how environments look, whether it be Bonnie's room or even when they're outside. It's so gorgeous to look at. But the way characters move and even how Bonnie's imagination is, it's a little bit more watercolor palette. I thought that was pretty interesting compared to like how we saw with Andy in Toy Story 3 and his imagination. It's crazy to think that the animation in these movies still is able to be as innovative and as creative and as vibrant as they've ever been. The story is investing, following Woody, Buzz, and Jessie as they navigate how tech is being more prominent today was relevant and exciting. As usual, Pixar manages to hit you in the feels. Pixar just, they know how to do that. They know how to just get you in the sweet spot every time when it comes to an emotional moment or moments, because they are so good at telling a story that makes you invest in what's going on with what Woody, Buzz, and Jessie are up to. And with this, exploring the idea of how tech is being more prominent today is done very well. Again, it is not a simple black and white type of narrative that a lot of people would like to think with this movie, but no, Pixar does what Pixar does best. They make it much more gray and a little bit more complex in how it talks about technology of today and how toys can still be relevant in today's age, but understanding that like technology is just not going to go away. There's always a better chance of finding or understanding what technology does compared to how most people want to think in terms of what technology has done. I think there is a benefit and there is a negative when it comes to technology. And I think this movie is able to find the balance in how it sees both angles of it. The writing is strong. Writer Stanton Harris brings the heart and humor that Toy Story is always known for, allowing it all to weave together so beautifully. No matter what it is, Toy Story is just able to have writing that feels sharp and impactful in the way in which it wants to get the message across. The way characters talk and the interactions that they all have. And here, it works so amazingly. It's incredible to see Stan Harris managing to find the heart in what makes Toy Story mean something to a lot of people and feel as effective as it always been. And that's what works about this movie, is how the writing feels like they're not talking down to kids. They're more so just giving you a story with characters that you always love, but also giving you a commentary with a bit of humor and heart to it that doesn't treat them like they don't understand things. This movie is able to take what works about a conversation about technology and make it so interesting and so fascinating to watch. The music is terrific. Like before, returning composer Randy Newman continues to bring the wonder and adventure that the franchise always does. Also, the new song was a good addition. Taylor Swift's song that she has for this movie, I think, works well in here, especially since it is more tailored towards like Jesse's style in terms of even what Taylor Swift is known for in the past. But Randy Newman, yeah, the guy just understands what Toy Story is and the sort of adventurous, sprawling scale that this franchise does best, and he is able to just continue that. That's what works about this series, is able to just find the excitement in the journey and the way in which characters just go about going on this grand adventure is always exciting. And Randy Newman, he always knows how to hit. The pacing runtime is on point. Scenes would flow well into the next. With a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes, it never slows down. Always appreciate a movie that knows its length and its time. And here, Pixar, they just know how to do that. And for me, I'm happy that this movie felt like it never slowed down or it really was losing steam. It just knew when to keep on going and let the moment simmer for a bit, but not to a point where it now stalls the movie. It just keeps going and it keeps you excited to see what comes next. The production is incredible. With every Pixar movie, the amount of effort that's put into this outing is well earned, again, being very inspiring for new and young animators. Now, I know I mentioned the animation, but there's a lot more that goes into it when it comes to even just bringing some of the physical aspects to this film, as well as understanding technology. They have to do research on this. It's really astonishing. And it's really inspiring to see if younger generations still see a movie like this and be audacious to really go into the world of animation in this way, and how it can really tell a story and show all that effort and all that time that was put into it to feel something special. And yeah, I do think is of real high quality. I mean, it's Pixar, obviously, but that's just what works about it. It's the fact that a lot of love and a lot of dedication that was put into this movie is here. And I am always just happy to see Toy Story just able to maintain that status even after 30 years. The action is well done. Every sequence was both intense and fun to see play out, making for new and creative ways to mix things up. There are some clever and interesting ways that Toy Story is able to implement some action sequences in this movie with chases or trying to run away from things. It's incredible. It's always awesome to see them be as creative and as effective in how they go about bringing some of these elements into this movie and making it as intense as it is for kids to still be invested. And I found myself being really excited to see what comes next and how they are able to implement action sequences in these movies. And to me, they continue that very well. Everything is phenomenal. Everything here is working, but there's one element, or rather elements, but they're kind of all together, that hold it back. And it's my main gripe with this. So here is now my only negative. The subplots are imbalanced. While the high-tech buzz are in it too much, and yes, this is the thing that people have been seeing, which is like the high-tech Buzz Lightyears, where they have like the screen chest plate to Star Command and all that stuff, and like there are like hotspots and Wi-Fi toys and all that stuff. I just feel like their storyline honestly is kind of pointless. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they need to be in this movie, except for like one thing that they contribute to the plot. Otherwise, you could remove them and they wouldn't change much at all. The rest of the toys also still feel relegated to the back, and to me, that is the biggest disappointment, and it just feeling all over the place. I wish that other toys got more attention. It just seems like with each entry, they're just getting reduced down to just a few lines and just feeling like they don't contribute anything. And now with this movie, they certainly do nothing to this movie. And honestly, it's kind of sad because I wish that they got more love than they used to, because in the past they did. With these three movies, they got so much attention, and now they've just been reduced to the background. I just wish Pixar would find ways to get them involved rather than just having them be stuck in one area or doing nothing for a majority of this film, because honestly it just feels like they're now taking up space and they feel really pointless in this series now. For a fifth entry to continue on in a strong way, Toy Story 5 delivers on that. It manages to hold on to the humor and heart that this franchise is known for. Its subplots may be a mixed bag, but this entry shows everyone that there's still a friend in this series. I understand people my age want to keep on saying that it should have ended after 3. I understand that. 3 is fantastic. But I keep on saying this, or at the very least, I want to address this in that I get that, but at the same time, I do feel like people are kind of missing out in the creative ways that they have done past 3 and kind of showcased what could make this series fresh. I understand people want to say, nope, don't want to explore that, but I truly think people are really missing out on something that I think honestly is still working. Like, if it wasn't, I can completely understand, but if it's still able to pull things off, man, I don't know. I truly think some people are really missing out on something that I think is still working even after we have now become adults. I think this movie and movies like this are really still important and effective at telling great stories that are impactful for today. I'm going to give Toy Story 5 a 9 out of 10. This movie is amazing. It hits on all the right things that Pixar is known for. They just continue to knock it out of the park with regards to this franchise. I'm kind of surprised by this fifth entry is able to still keep up with things. And this franchise has still proven how much they are able to be effective at storytelling and still giving families the chance to really connect with their children and also showcasing the relatability with one another. So to me, still really loving this franchise, but I'm still hoping it still holds on to that. So I will be soon doing a review for Supergirl. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.